There was a story that came out about how Apple is going to have an on-device AI scan through your photos for certain explicit content. And that made me think about what the lines are for morality and privacy in the tech space. How much responsibility does a manufacturer have over what a consumer does with their product? And should they intervene at all to help authorities? Answers to all those questions and more here at Techonomics. Hey guys, it's Carlos, always trying to provide you insight of technology and how it's affecting you and the world at large. What's so interesting about this conversation about morality and privacy in the tech space is that frankly, most companies aren't even consistent in their positions on the matter. So let's get some more context and understand how. Apple has been known for being possibly the only tech company that prioritizes and values privacy and security. So much so that their current CEO, Tim Cook, said the following about their view as a company. "We at Apple believe that privacy is a fundamental human right." Those words are straightforward and to the point. There is no misreading or misunderstanding what they mean. And Apple wasn't all talk. They actually believed in those words and showed their conviction with their actions. Now you might ask, how? Which gets me to probably the most important and influential story that Apple has ever been a part of related to privacy and security. In 2015, there was a mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. As a result, 14 died and the two suspects committed suicide. The FBI was tasked with investigating the matter to determine what the motive was. They were able to obtain one of the suspects' iPhones, but it was locked and there were only so many attempts that could be used before all of the device's data would be deleted. In desperation, the FBI asked Apple to break into the device so that they could get access to the data. Apple said no, citing privacy concerns. Now, that might sound like an excuse, but they actually had a point. They explained that if you create a backdoor to be able to get access to this secure data in a private device, that now is a vector for attack. Meaning that now that Apple made a way to break into the iPhone, others can take advantage of that to break in as well. And while, of course, not just anyone can break into an iPhone, the reality is that just by making that door for themselves, there is now a vulnerability that others can abuse to break in. Not only that, there's also the possibility that others could get their hands on this supposed program. And once that happens, all security for all iPhones everywhere are pretty much broken because anyone that has access to the program can just get in. And even if they were to plug it in down the road, software engineers would just have to reverse engineer the code to understand what was being done and make something new that takes advantage of the same thing. Or maybe use the knowledge from that program to make something completely, totally different. It doesn't matter because Apple would just be showing their hand with regards to what vulnerabilities there are in iPhones and iOS. But even after tons of backlash and hit pieces, they stood their ground and kept prioritizing security for the good of their consumers. So they didn't make a program to get access to the iPhone. And that's not the only time that they've worried about the security and privacy of their customers. Recently, in 2019, they implemented a new privacy policy where all applications would have to get explicit permission from their users in order to get access to each individual piece of information from their phone. Meaning that the applications will now be forced to be more transparent and users will be informed about what data is being collected by their applications. Now, it should be obvious why something like this is so great for consumers. Having them be more informed and have better control over their devices is always a good thing. And as you might imagine, Facebook went crazy after this move, which shouldn't be a surprise because their application is notorious for gathering obscene amounts of data just for the purpose of selling it to a third party. Nonetheless, Apple continued to stand their ground and had the policy go through, which is why it is so much more frustrating to see them change their position on privacy from a company that is supposed to have a moral character on these issues, no less. So first, let's understand what the hell I'm talking about and why it can be an issue. In mid-2021, it was reported that Apple will have a machine learning algorithm scan through one's photos to check for certain explicit content in their upcoming iOS 15 update. Don't want to say anything more explicit than that for obvious reasons. The AI would be on device, so there wouldn't be communication with their servers, and it would be comparing those images on the device with a set of hashed images that are known to be the said explicit content. And for those of you that don't know what being hashed means, it basically means it's encrypted using a specific hash as a code to decrypt the data. But it doesn't just check. Once it finds a match, it will contact someone to make sure that it is in fact the explicit content. And if that content is validated, then the appropriate authorities will be notified. So just think about that for a second. Apple will have a program that goes through your phone to search for bad stuff, and if they find it, they're gonna call the cops on you. Never mind problems with the program, user error on the side of the individual checking the photos, or any other set of issues that can happen in the steps between you taking a photo on your phone and the authorities being called. But here's the thing, it doesn't end there. They're also going to be going through the messages of minors. And if they find any sort of explicit content in the messages, either from the sender or the recipient, it will be censored. And to top it all off, the parents of the minor will be notified. Never mind the fact that we don't know what they're using as a criteria for what is considered to be appropriate discourse between minors. And never mind that much, if not all of it, would be completely legal. Apple will have a program running on the devices to look through the messages of minors and snitch on them to their parents. So I think at this point, I've made it pretty clear how dystopian this sort of move is. Not only is it Big Brother stuff, but ripe for abuse. Remember, Apple's the company that refused to create an opening in their device because of how it might be used later for nefarious purposes. The same argument applies here. Just because Apple is doing it for supposedly good intentions, and just because they are targeting something that I'm pretty sure everyone can agree is bad, doesn't mean a system that scans through the content on your phone cannot be abused in the future. And if they're going to give this supposedly bad information to authorities, what is it to stop authorities from totalitarian nations from taking advantage of this system as well? What's to stop them from going up to Apple and asking them for specific information that violates your privacy? I don't trust giant multinational tech companies to be the arbiters of what's okay and what is not okay to be on my phone. Nor do I trust the governments that are going to, without a doubt, take advantage of this sort of system to meet their own nefarious ends. And neither should you. Privacy is important, and while I know that in 2021 privacy is hard to find, that doesn't mean that we should just give up on it. Don't forget that according to Apple, it is a fundamental human right. Hey guys, thanks again for watching another video as always. Please hit that like button, I really do appreciate it, and comment down below with any other stories that you think are relevant to this whole privacy and security conversation. What do you think can be done about it anyway? I would love to hear your opinion. As always, it is Carlos from Techonomics, over and out.